morning. Let me start with thanks to our organizers for inviting me to speak here today and for giving a challenge of being a speaker on the third day when everyone's tired. I'm going to take a little bit of a different twist here to try to stimulate some thought, create a little bit of excitement, and hopefully cause some change in you, give you some value at the end of all this. All right? So I'm going to talk about research and the role of research in safety. Classically, you don't hear those two terms put together, research and safety. I want to convince you that you should think in those terms. And I'm going to use the term safety here very broadly to cover all aspects of managing risk. So to use that term loosely, and also for research, I'm going to talk about how I use the scientific or engineering examples today, but it could very much be on the more the behavioral side, like Dominic spoke about earlier. So paint a broad brush with me, if you will, here today. Okay? In terms of research programs, there's been a number of different avenues that can be taken. We have been involved in joint industry projects where a number of companies come together and mutually try to tackle a problem and share in the benefits of all the knowledge. Of course, they share in the cost of supporting the research as well. Trade associations, such as API and others, will fund research work on behalf of their industry sector. That's a slow process. It's a good process, but it's a slow process to get through committees and get funding in place. So nothing happens quickly through trade associations. And there are individual companies who will fund research. I'm not able to talk about projects we've undertaken today because they're proprietary, but we've had great successes with companies actually funding safety-related research with regard to a specific project they have or a specific activity. All right? So let me give you a couple of examples, and these again are scientific-based examples, but think more broadly. One is the Explosion Research Cooperative. This is a joint industry project that's now in its 22nd year, and it's created a tremendous knowledge base of explosion hazards, improvements in methods to predict explosion effects, understanding how structures respond to explosions, understanding the risk to occupants, and improving the safety of personnel exposed to explosions. All right? And this is a common interest to the industry. It's a shared interest among the companies involved. We now have 21 participants, only one from the Middle East at this point, Saudi Aramco. We really would like to increase participation from the Middle East and broaden the scope here. Very, very successful program. And to show you some of what can be done in the safety arena, let me show you a test. And would you go ahead and play the video for me? There's been a tremendous interest in the U.S. and in other parts of the world in using what's called now soft-sided structures, or tents, as temporary shelters for personnel. Turnarounds are a big activity, and in turnarounds there's a need to have temporary shelters, often for large numbers of workers. As one of the speakers yesterday pointed out, there's times when we have capital projects or turnarounds next to an operating process facility with thousands of workers nearby. So the tents are a nice expedient shelter that can be used for various functions such as lunch tents and the like. But you have to look at it from a risk management situation, a little distant perspective. That's a way to concentrate your risk. Now you bring all of these people together for a short period of time, and they're all exposed to the risk. So taking that example, what if we had people in that tent when an explosion happened in a nearby process unit? We now have the hazard of all those people congregated together. So the question arose, what is the risk to the personnel? And without these tests, we couldn't answer that question. There was no data available to actually address that risk. So this was the first test. The overpressure on that tent was only about 2 psi. That's not a high pressure. And imagine the risk to the personnel involved. API undertook a study to try to define what is a reasonable basis for the siting of tents. And we did the testing for them. Would you play this video for me? So after several tests, this is the level that we got to. That's a high-speed video. And you can see that The tent has suffered a little bit of damage, but it's standing. And the risk of the occupants are greatly mitigated compared to that prior test. Right? Incidentally, if you haven't seen this publication, it's API Recommended Practice 756, free from the API website. Would strongly encourage you to get that document. The results of these tests are directly incorporated into that. So there's where a research program directly led to an industry standard. Now there is a defined basis where the risk is managed. All right? Let me tell you about a second joint industry program. This one's newer. This is for the downhole tool industry. This is called the Pressure Test Research Cooperative. It really supports the downhole service companies who send their tools down a hole that have to operate at quite high pressures. Typical for their tools is they have to work at 10,000 psi or greater. Now, for the downhole tool industry, it's very expensive to put a tool down the drill hole. So they have a 100% proof testing requirement for any tool that's going to go down in the well. Okay? That means every tool is tested to at least 10,000 psi. So there's a test facility somewhere above ground where they have to pressure the tools up to 10,000 psi. The question came, what happens if there's a simple failure of the test fixture, like a tubing fitting coming off, or a pipe plug coming off, when you're testing it above 10,000 psi? We did some engineering analysis, and we could quantify, but there's really no test data to support it. So this research program was created just to quantify the hazards and create design criteria for designing something to protect workers in case there's just a tubing failure, a fitting failure. Okay? So let me show you some test results, and these became eye-opening. Could you play the video on the left one? The first test is a hydrostatic test. At 10,000 psi, a water-filled fixture, you fail a plug at the... That's a hydro test. Water. No gas in the system, which is classically viewed as a safe test, right? It's only water. But at 10,000 psi and greater, water is compressible. And the whole system acts like a massive spring. Would you play the video on the right, please? We had to change the mindset. We had to change the mindset that hydro testing was safe. If something failed, there'd be no problem. And these videos did the trick. Until we did these tests, until we could show people what the actual ramifications were, they were still convinced that hydro testing without shielding was just fine. The velocities of those projectiles coming off would easily be a fatality. Okay? There is no doubt they'd be a fatality if someone was hit. Let me show you another test. Those were hydro tests, but some of the downhole tool industries really desired to do pneumatic tests. By doing so on their project. Okay, and how do you do it? Well, sometimes they could put hundreds of thousands of dollars into a costly risk study, or they could directly do some testing or other work and get a perfectly engineered solution out. So rather than waste money on paper, why not put money into something that gives you a tangible risk reduction, a real risk reduction? Okay? So it's cost of paper versus cost of risk reduction. Okay? The second is, in the absence of some of this work, you're forced to make overly conservative engineering judgments, which means you pay a higher cost for risk mitigation, okay? Which is unnecessary use of resource that could be put into other aspects of managing your risk, right? And quite frankly, they could be spending on what's truly ineffective risk mitigation, which is just wasted cost. You're truly not managing your risk, all right? Let's talk about education, okay? What'd you think of the videos? Right? You guys now know that tents are an issue. You guys now now know that high pressure testing is an issue. Now you know you can throw water and hurt things, right? All in 10 minutes.